morning. I'm Daniel Wynn.
And I'm Mackenzie Henderson. WGEM's Dylan Smith has been reporting all week from inside the Adams County courtroom where Timothy Bliefnick is on trial. He faces a first-degree murder charge accused of shooting to death Rebecca Bliefnick.
Day 3 of testimony wrapped up today with the testimony centering around the collection of evidence. Dylan is there at the courthouse. And Dylan, what can we make from today's witnesses?
Well, Daniel, just like you said right there, the state's focus today, or their case today, was based on the evidence collection, not only from where Rebecca Bliefnick was found dead on Kentucky Road, but where Timothy Bliefnick was living as well. Now, about a week after Rebecca Bliefnick was killed, police searched Timothy's home, seizing multiple items that led to his arrest a few weeks later. You'll remember several shell casings were found at Rebecca Bliefnick's home. Police say they were from a 9mm handgun. Now, similar shell casings were found in Timothy Bliefnick's home on Hampshire Street as well. They also found parts of a plastic Aldi bag at the scene of the shooting, which prosecutors claim was part of a homemade silencer. Prosecutors also say they found the tool they believe was used to break into Rebecca's home.
How many other tools did you collect?
There were a few.
Okay, and were any of those, and what kind of tools were they, if you remember?
There were additional crowbars.
Okay, and were any of those crowbars sent to the crime lab for testing?
No, they were not.
Okay, and can you tell us why their decisions were made to send one crowbar for testing but not others?
The ones that we located in the detached garage appeared to have not been disturbed for a very long period of time. The one that we did end up sending that was in the basement was on a shelf by itself and just was kind of out of the ordinary.
And there was no testimony today about test results of that one crowbar. Pizzella says 8 shell casings were also sent to the crime lab. Prosecutors say some of tomorrow's witnesses are from the crime lab, so we could learn some of those results then. Live in Quincy, Dylan Smith, WGEM News.
Thank you, Dylan. Prosecutors called 12 witnesses today. The trial resumes tomorrow at 9 a.m.